Hello everyone, again this is Pat from PSA Custom Creations, and today's video is going to be about two more Harbor Freight right angle grinders. I went ahead and picked up two more models of the grinders. Part of it's going to be, or is because I'm going to be using them in different capacities, and again just to have another selection of grinders to work with so I don't have to keep changing out the discs or the brushes, etc. Now I went ahead and bought this one. This is their basic model, smallest end or lowest end model. 4.5 inch grinder's got 4.3 amps. The Drill Master model, it is item number 60625. You'll notice that this grinder is considerably smaller than their mid-range model, which is the Chicago Electric grinder. It is the 91223 is the model number, and this one has 4.5 amps as opposed to 4.3. You'll also see that there's a little bit of differences in the composition, the size of them, etc. The Drill Master does seem to be a lot smaller, a lot lighter. It doesn't have the replaceable brushes like the mid-range model. Now, one of the reasons I bought this lower end model, it was only $9.95 as one of their club members, so at $10 I'm not too worried about what happens to it, etc. The other reason I do want to try to go ahead and mount one of these in a vise or a couple of attachments so I can use this as a portable or small chop saw. I do have bigger chop saws. I've got a cold cut saw, I've got a horizontal band saw, etc. But there's times where I just want to use something small, nice and light to get some straight cuts. One of the other things I'm looking at doing again is taking the gear cases apart to see how much grease was inside of them. I have gone ahead and taken the screws off, and opening this one up, you'll see that it has a minimal amount of grease in it. On the mid-range model, it actually does have a good amount of grease to it. So there's not much I'm going to have to do with that one, so I'm pleasantly surprised. Again, one of the reasons why I'm trying to show these is I do like to have a bunch of tools. I like to have a variety of them so that I don't have to worry about them too much. These Harbor Freight ones are nice because, again, at $10, I'm not too worried about it. I could go through 4 or 5 of these, if not even more, for the amount that it cost me for my DeWalt. I don't have to worry about them being lost, stolen, or anything like that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is pack this housing with some more grease, and later I'm going to do another video once I've got these things installed under a little bit of use to see how they're holding up. From looking at the housing, you can also see in the difference in the amount of material and how this housing is built versus this one. So it does, the heavy duty, their version of a heavy duty model, does in fact actually seem to be a little bit better built. But we'll put it under some use, and I'll shoot another video later to let you know how it is, and I'll actually probably compare these two grinders to my other ones that I have. Alright, so I just got the grease packed in there, the housings put back together, the safety guards put on, and one thing you'll notice, and this is the locking nut for the heavy duty grinder versus the locking nut for the Drill Master. On the Drill Master, it has what I consider to be somewhat of a more traditional look, in that you have a recess on one side and a raised portion on the other. It's not very thick, but this is in comparison to the DeWalt one. You can see the diameter is about a little bit smaller, etc., but at least they're the same shape. Now the one on the Chicago Electric heavy duty one, it just has recess cut in each side, so it doesn't have an enraised portion, which is maybe a different, or maybe an issue when you start using the thicker discs. Another thing you'll find is also look at the spacing between the holes on the various nuts. You've got the DeWalt one, the Chicago Electric heavy duty one, and the Drill Master light duty one. I do like the fact that this has the 4 holes in it. These also, though, are a lot less spacing between the two. So what that's going to mean is going to be a different wrench for each of the different grinders, just because the spacings are different. So one thing to think about when you're using different grinders is the wrenches. I like to tie mine off to the power cord, that way I'm less likely to lose them. Doesn't mean I'm not going to lose them, just means hopefully less likely. What I do want to do though is transfer them all over, so I'm using the same nut on there for the arbor. I'll probably try to find more or buy more of the same ones for the DeWalt, since that's what I'm used to and I have several of those wrenches already, versus trying to use 3 different wrenches. And even though I tie them off to each other, or tie them off to the tool, it's nice just to have commonality or the same size.